What is up, my fire amigos? Welcome back to the channel for another Call of Duty Black Ops 4 Zombies Guide in 2025. What I have for you guys today is going to be all 3 wonder weapons that you can grab for free on Tag der Toten. The only requirement for this is that you're going to need 1 dynamite bomb, both flingers, and the zipline handle acquired for all of them. So let's go ahead and get started with the first one. The first one is going to be the Wunderwaffe. For the Wunderwaffe, you're going to be looking for a key, and this key can be found in an icicle in one of 3 spots. The first spot's right here on the first floor awning. The second spot is on the outside of the lighthouse on this 3rd floor awning. And then the third one's going to be at the at the end of the cave with the blue rock right here. That's where I found it in my game. You need to shoot it down, and shooting it down, you're going to see a key lodged inside. So we need to take this key and the icicle all the way down to the forecastle. All the way at the forecastle, you're going to notice this pot over a fire. We need to put the icicle in there, and you will have to wait for the icicle to just completely melt. It's not going to be instantaneous. It's a literal watching paint dry situation. It's kind of stupid. Anyway, once it's done melting, you need to pick up the key, and then you need to go all the way up to the facility and go in the Human Research Lab. In the Human Research Lab, you're going to see this safe. Put the key into the safe, and you're going to see the Vril device. The Vril device now becomes a soul box. I think it's 10 to 15, maybe 20. When you're done filling the soul box, you're going to hear this noise.
Vril device!
Once the souls are collected in the Vril device, take it all the way to the Hermit. And he's going to do a lot of dialogue, but he'll take the Vril device, give you a safe key, and this safe key goes to the right in this box here. Once he's done talking again, you can pick up the Wunderwaffe. Now, we'll start with the second one. The second wonder weapon is going to be the Tundra Gun. For this one, we need to go to the Human Research Lab again. We definitely need to have snowballs. Make sure you have snowballs in hand. A full 6 count. Above the outside entrance to the Human Research Lab, you're going to see a little target. You need to throw a snowball at a target. When you do, you're going to hear a ding. You are now on a time trial. You need to get to the next target out of 5 within a time trial, or else it will fail and you'll have to start again. For this task, you need to find the shortest route possible between point A and point B for every single target in a specific order. So for the first one, it's going to be the Human Research Lab. Then you need to zipline all the way down to spawn. Once you're in spawn, take the little cove between the spawn and the ice slide. The second target's right here next to this painting. Then you need to go all the way over to the ship. The quickest way to the ship is to go to the 3rd level of the lighthouse and take the zipline over to the stern. The target is right next to the flinger that leads you to Golden Pack Punch. Then you need to take the flinger that leads you to the lighthouse. And when you do that, it's going to lead you back to the 3rd floor. Well, take the 3rd floor door to the lighthouse, and the target is right there on the top of the spiral. Lastly, go to the top floor of the lighthouse, take the zipline to the cargo hold, and then turn around as soon as you land in the cargo hold. You're going to notice the final target right there. When you hit all 5 targets successfully with a ding every time, this box should open, revealing the Tundra Gun. Just know that when you have 2 wonder weapons in hand, you can only have one at a time. So if you have the Wunderwaffe, it will be replaced by the Tundra Gun. It goes for every single wonder weapon that you have on the map. Keep that in mind. let's go ahead and talk about the Thunder Gun. For the Thunder Gun, this is definitely the longest-winded quest out of any Wonder Weapon quest in the game. It requires us to do all 5 of the challenge totems. To start the challenge totems, you first need to at least go to the top floor of the lighthouse to talk to the hermit to have access to these. The first one is in the frozen crevice, the second one's at the lighthouse, the third one's at the beach right around here, the fourth one is at the back of the ship, and then finally the fifth one is at the facility. The first one I started with was the one in the frozen crevice. This is definitely the easiest one out of the 5. The first challenge requires you to get kills while standing in frozen water. That's not that bad at all. The second challenge is to shatter frozen zombies. The easiest way to do this is A, hit the zombie in the head with a snowball, or B, shoot them a little bit till they freeze, then walk into them. Before starting the last challenge on this challenge totem, I would recommend you guys putting on subtitles. Now, the way I have subtitles on, though, for the last challenge, claim the reward, and then the hermit will tell you he wants you to play a tune for him using the bells he's set up around the docks. Now, the docks has 4 bells. The first one's right here next to the shack. The second one's right above your spawn point. The third one's right next to the power switch. And then the last one's way over here in the distance. Now, these all have their own unique tune. And there's a very easy way to remember these bells just right off the bat. If you stand on the docks and look at the bell on the center of the docks next to the power switch, from left to right, all of these bells will spell out the word cage. The far left bell is C. The one right in front of you is A. The one right behind you is G. That's the one at spawn. And then the far right is E. Now that we know the tunes to the bells, we just need to shoot them in the order the hermit gives us. My order was A, E, G, E. This will be random every game. So I shot A twice, went over to shoot E, then I shot G, and for the last one I shot E again, and I got the challenge finished. This one will give you 10 or 11 snowballs. For the second challenge totem, I did the one at the facility. I would recommend doing this one as one of your first ones to do because of the last challenge. But the first challenge on this challenge totem is fleeing 15 zombies. In co-op it's more, I don't know the exact number. But for solo it's 15. Now, when flinging zombies, you can use either the flingers that are available. I would recommend using the one at the ship. The ship has a lot more ground to cover because of the physics of the one at the facility. The facility flinger is very long, yes, but because it's tied to the heat pack quest, it has 3 separate pressure plates designated to a certain crate. This is the issue with this challenge. When you're flinging the zombies, you have to fling the zombies on the panel you are standing on, and that can get very bothersome. For instance, the first one I did, even though there was a good portion of the round on my flinger, it only counted 4 because 4 of them were standing on that plate I was standing on. Do you see my problem with this challenge? Let's die down for a second. So I got 4 for the first time, and then the second time I did 11, surprisingly enough. So I was very thankful for that. So when I went to claim the reward, the next challenge it gave me was get kills while riding a zipline. That is not as bad as it sounds. Not at all. First and foremost, they give you an insta-kill. So you can easily just ride the ziplines and kill them with insta-kill, but there's a way easier solution. Train up zombies right there on the zipline port, and get to where you have your grenade. I would recommend just having a Wraith Fire at this point. Put it down on the floor, have the train walk into that Wraith Fire while you're riding the zipline. There should be all the zombies killed up at the top of the zipline by the time you hit the bottom of the zipline at the spawn. And that's the challenge complete. It's really, really easy to do. The third challenge, however, very easy, but very annoying on solo. The hermit says he wants to play a game, and then there is a miniature snowball whack-a-mole course right there. You need to throw a snowball at the back target to start, and I don't know exactly how many puppets are per thing. I just know that there are a total of 3 segments. Your goal is to throw a snowball at the sock puppet before it goes down. If you don't get it in time, you'll have to restart from the very beginning. The problem is that the zombies will definitely not ignore you during this. So there are 2 ways to combat this. Number 1 is what I see a lot of speedrunners use during the Tag der Toten gauntlet because you have to complete all 5, and that is you can move and shoot. I didn't have the patience to move and shoot, so I made sure Winter's Wail was in the modifier slot for my tonic perk, and I definitely had all 4 perks to start this. Kept the zombie frozen in place while I did the whack-a-mole. This is the most annoying part about it. It is, because if you have 3 charges, the freeze is not going to last as long as the 4. I just don't like this challenge on solo. It is so stupid. I feel like you shouldn't have to waste a Winter's Wail just to get this done. Side notes aside for this entire set of challenges, when you got that one done, it gives you half off traps. Not bad. For the third one I did the one at the lighthouse. For the first challenge in the lighthouse, you have to do headshots and collect their brains. You can't walk over the brains, you have to hold X to pick up the brain. It's so stupid. Very stupid. But once that challenge is done, you can start the second one, and the second one is get shield bash kills. This one is not as bad. You could literally buy the shield at the lighthouse. It's no problem. The third one is the P-jars. Now for the P-jars, they're right underneath the vapor wall at the top of the lighthouse on the 4th floor. You need to walk them all the way to the beach and pour them out. You cannot sprint, and you cannot use your specialist weapon. It will break the jars. This is annoying. So if you didn't want to bring Winter's Wail in the modifier, you could bring in Stamina in the modifier to walk faster. Otherwise, you're going to take the long-ass trip back and forth for all 3 P-jars. Once those are all done, you can grab your final reward, which is a self-revive. The next one I did was the one at the back end of the ship. For the first challenge, it is going to be kills standing still. Self-explanatory. The next challenge is melee kills. There's a lot of things you can do for this. You can use the Strife Stiletto, the Bayonet on the Vapor, the Katana, your Shield Bash, a Bowie Knife. Any of those would work, as long as you get 10 melee kills. When that challenge is over, you can start the final one. The final one requires you to make some soup. Now, there are 3 ingredients, each of them have 3 spawns, but luckily they're all close to each other. We're going to start with the soup spices. The soup spices can be found in the cafeteria. First spawn's on this couch, the second spawn's on this counter, and the third spawn is on this counter. For the second ingredient, it's one of 3 items. A plum, an ear of corn, or cabbage. The plum is on this barrel here. The ear of corn is somewhere along this rock next to the snowballs. The last one is the cabbage. It's going to be found in this wheelbarrow. This is where I found it in my game. The last one is a piece of meat. This is found in the boat shack. The first one's on top of this stovetop, the second one's on top of this barrel, and then the third spawn is on top of this barrel. Once you have all 3, you need to make your way back to the back end of the boat and put them all in the pot that's over the stove. The last thing it says to do is to add water. Well, you don't have water, but you have ice in the form of a snowball. So you need to throw the snowball at the pot in order to finish the challenge. This one will give you a fresh sheet of armor. And the last one I did was the one at the beach. The first one at the beach requires you to get snowball kills. Now, again, I'm not a crack shot with the snowballs, so it took me forever. The best thing to do still is to go for headshots. They're insta-kills still. I don't know when the insta-kill stops for headshots, but that's what they are. For the next challenge, you need to get 15 kills with the lighthouse trap. Just be very careful of running into the lighthouse trap because it is a 2-hit down if you run into it. This isn't too bad. The lighthouse trap for the beach, specifically, goes around the giant rock all the way through. And then finally, you have to take snowballs and spell out the word SOS that Pablo has started right, but he couldn't finish for whatever reason. The first SOS message is right above the bridge walkway on the right. You'll see it there next to the beach. For the second one, you have to go to the sunken path. Look to the left as soon as you enter it. You're going to see the SOS message there. And then the last one is going to be on the lighthouse. Once you fill up all the holes for every single SOS message using snowballs, the challenge will be completed, and you can grab the final reward, which is an ice pick. For the ice pick specifically, it helps melee the ice faster for you if you ever get frozen. Once you have all 5 challenge totems done, you can go to the hermit. He says you've more than gained his trust, and you can grab the last key he's going to be able to give you. This key is to the crate on the left, and you can get the Tundra Gun. I thank you for watching, and peace out.
Cyclone gun, wind weapon, gust rifle, There has to be a more accurate name than Thunder Gun.